Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review, episode number 98. This is I'm reviewing the 99th episode of the anime, Jugo and the Cursed Seal, and the 33rd chapter of the manga, Breaking the Limit. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of a change up when it comes to this particular anime review series. Where before when I was reviewing the manga, I was reviewing basically a series of specials. I decided to combine it because, well, for this one, I didn't get a chance to do yesterday, so I figured I'll combine two videos into one. Kind of like I did with One Piece, I did for Tokyo Ghoul. I'm planning to do it for Case Closed when I finally catch both the series and the manga. And there's that. Now, this episode is part 2 of this arc, featuring, well, Jugo. He's not technically the main villain of this arc. Nope. It's interesting though you got a chance to see how to interact with him for a whole episode. Yeah, that's one thing that's about it. Picks up where last week's episode left off, where you have Jugo in his cursed transformation state, taking on Konohamaru for the first 5 minutes of the episode. And Konohamaru gets injured, though Konohamaru does manage to get him back to his normal state by firing a Rasengan at his face. Yes, at his face. I'm like, wow, I did not expect to see that. Yeah, Jugo basically taking a full blast of Rasengan in his face. And, of course, later on he sort of runs away. Of course, they go back to the cave, and there's a little area where he sort of calms down. When they run to the shoreline, they basically run in. They see that he has some special medicine that allows him to sort of suppress the cursed mark. And he's also able to reveal in this episode, he's able to absorb the other curse mark to basically restore the birds. And he's able to detect which one of the birds had the curse mark. And the way to take it if the curse mark is their eyes. If they're red, that's the curse mark. Okay, that's actually quite interesting. I love the development they have of this thing. Of course, they still don't mention the fact that, well, Konohamaru knows only one other person aside from Jugo had a curse mark. Actually, it was two he knew. One, of course, basically got both of them got the curse mark removed, and that was Anko and Sasuke. Sasuke is not even mentioned in this episode. I keep wondering, though, for this whole episode, is Boruto or Satoru going to call up Sasuke and ask him for his help? Because Konohamaru's out, and he's out for pretty much the rest of the episode. And he tells Team 7, look at the Jugo. Team 15, go back to the village for a situation. Yeah, Team 15 don't do very much in this episode. Not really, no. They help out Jugo a little bit, and Susumori is able to determine that Konohamaru lost a chunk of his chakra. It probably takes some time to recover it. Yeah, according to Konohamaru, it would take 4 or 5 days. So he might be out for a few episodes. Also, this is probably the first episode of the series where you see Konohamaru and he does not have his headband or his scarf on. Or even his joining vest. Yeah, those 3 things has basically been with him since the start of the series. This is the first episode where he actually removes them. Yes. Because if you notice Konohamaru, he's looked pretty much exactly the same. I don't think anybody's ever seen him without his scarf on. Yeah, this is the first episode to see it. At least in the case of Kakashi, at least a few times we actually get a chance to see without his headband on, or at least his joining vest. Though back in both Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, the vests look completely different. This is, of course, before the 2-year time skip. Yeah, the current vest they wear in the series, it's actually the vest they start wearing after the 2-year time skip. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when they decided to change the vest, because before, they looked like they were similar style to that of vest that SWAT team would wear, except they're green, and they have a bunch of pouches on them. These basically are flat. Yeah, and in the case of Team 15, after they go off, they basically try to protect village. They come across 2 people who sort of have artificially created curse marks. They activate the special collars they have around their necks. They press the middle of them and create sort of the curse mark we saw in the last episode, where the curse mark looks like streak marks. Well, not streak marks, more like basically what looks like if something was run over by a car. Okay. My apologies for that. Anyways, yeah, so Boruto convinces Jugo that they should basically keep an eye on him. Before they keep on his secret, then of course they came on open, basically over to protect him. And of course, they run in, and of course, while walking down a riverbed, they run into people from the land of River. Okay, I've never heard of this country at all in the series. This is the first time I've heard of it. I've heard of Land of Waves. I've heard of Land of Mist, but Land of River? Seriously? And the way their symbol looked, it looked like a freaking bullseye. I'm like, it looked kind of similar to the of Apocalypse symbol. Well, without the big A. It's basically his. It's more like the symbol from the clan Octon. It's a clan that supports Apocalypse and basically believe in his survival of the fittest doctrine. It's a very similar symbol. It's basically a circle with two cones facing toward it. That's basically the symbol. And they also look like on their back, you know, like anyone watching the series knows that the big swirl on the back of the Hidden Leaf uniforms, which, as far as I can tell, the current Johnny Jet vest do still have those. They still do. Yeah, but that was explained in Shipping. The reason why they wear those is because the symbol of their friendship with the land of Eddies, which is where Naruto's mother is from. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, Naruto's nowhere to see this whole episode. So Summary does at least something, but my only disagreement with this episode is very limited use of Team 15. And like last episode, they were used pretty well. Here, they're just barely in the episode. They're basically only get about 6 minutes of screen time. I'm like, that's it? For 3 characters, one of whom happens to be the main villain of the first arc of the series, and they barely get anything to do. Excuse me. So, and apparently Boruto decided to keep Jongo a secret from them, the fact they knew him. Though he says he just didn't feel like it. But I do have a theory of why. Because he's an old friend of his master, Sasuke, which they haven't seen each other since the Chunin exam arc. Which I'm like, why wouldn't they have them basically see each other since that particular arc? It's particularly very weird, to say the least. Actually, I think they did show up. I think he did show up in the previous arc when he did interact briefly once. I kind of wish they do a little bit more with their relation. They do interact with each other in the manga after that, but not very much. Yeah. So with this episode, it's overall just part 2 of the story, definitely, but it moves at a very strange pace. You know, like we get a good action piece at the beginning, and then we get like a bit of a slowdown moment, especially with Boruto telling, like right after Konohamaru basically verifies his battle with Jongo, that Boruto keeps a secret about Konohamaru's condition. And I get kind of the reason. He doesn't have all the facts, so he doesn't have to tell the village head about basically what's going on. But I do have a question, though, about the Land of River. Like, last time I checked the area they're in, this is still an area technically controlled by the Land of Fire. What the heck is Land of River doing there? I mean, as far as I can tell, they're not on the border, per se. They're close to the border, but they're not on the border. So as for why in the world these people are here for, I have no idea. It's one of the most bizarre things come this episode. But I'm definitely looking forward to next week, which looks like it's going to continue this arc. I like the fact we have Jongo basically appearing this arc, because he didn't chance to do very much. Like, I would not be surprised. I mean, Orochimaru, yeah, he gets referenced this episode, doesn't really do anything at all. No, he gets a mild reference, and apparently that he may have made the drug that Jongo used. Okay, now let's move on to the newest chapter of the manga. Chapter 33, Breaking the Limit. Which in the cover we have Naruto in his Kibe form state. And we pick up where the last chapter left off, where you have Naruto versus Delta. Well, and of course, Kawaki basically losing part of his arm due to sacrifices, basically protecting Boruto and Himari. Of course, Naruto is mad because, well, he went after his children. Not just Boruto, he went after Himari, who's not even a trained ninja. And of course, they basically brawl the whole chapter. Naruto even punches her in the belly. Yeah, punches her straight in the gut. And of course, she fires back, and basically, they beat each other up for a good long while. And of course, they also mentioned the leader of Kira. His name is Jangen, which a lot of people, I've heard a couple people theorize that he might be a resurrected Jiraiya. But there's been no evidence to support that. That's a theory rolling around about him. But he's never taken off his mask. We don't know what he looks like. The theory is currently it's Jiraiya, but no evidence to support that yet. It's interesting fan theory though. And of course, Delta's getting desperate, trying to tell Naruto to die. And then Naruto basically fires a giant Rasengan at her. She's able to absorb it. And then he does a super giant ball Rasengan at her. She basically absorbs it. And then he does one of Rasengan, a super Rasengan. And it pretty much kills her. Yep. Yeah. Basically, it's kind of, well, throws more at him, and then, of course, then he does a super Dragon Ball. His super Rasengan. Throws at her, and she pretty much gets defeated. And she's out. And, of course, Naruto goes back to his normal form. And Boruto is like, yay, we're like, we won. And Kaneki is basically just happy the thing is over. And, of course, Naruto's like, what's next? Yeah, that's going to be interesting, though, how they're going to study this woman's body afterwards. Overall, I'm going to give this chapter roughly a 9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. Fantastic chapter. And I wrapped this fight. I'm looking forward to next month's chapter. Which will be chapter 34. Yeah. Excuse me. Otherwise, though, it's really if this particular review. I have no other videos planned for today, as far as I know. Yeah, no other videos planned for today. I may have one video planned for tomorrow. And that'd be maybe a comic corner, but that's it. I have no other videos planned for tomorrow, so I have possibly a comic corner. Kate's clothes will definitely be finished up tomorrow. Probably finished by Tuesday, Wednesday, this rate. Yeah, that's probably going to be the case, okay? So, until we see you next video, bye.